Hello everybody, UXW Bill here with another exciting YouTube video for you all. Unfortunately, this video doesn't portray me in the best possible light because I'll admit I was a bit of a moron recently. I had the misfortune of backing into a co-worker's vehicle when I was leaving work for lunch one day. Anyway, here are some pictures of the damage.
So, in the meantime, while my truck's in the shop, I've got a 1997 Oldsmobile 88 to drive as a loaner car. And this thing is really a pretty plush car. I wouldn't have expected the Oldsmobile line to be quite as nice as this thing is. It's not in too bad a shape. It's got a little bit of unscheduled bodywork there above the rear wheel. A little bit of paint coming off the door there. But for the most part, it could pass for being in pretty good shape. Looks pretty good. No major dents or dings on it. Got a nice spacious trunk with some scratches on the deck lid here. As you can see, I've got a lot of computer crap in there to recycle. Sending all that stuff off to the recycling, and there's still room in there. So that's always good. And it's pretty well loaded. And it's got a lot of neat electric toy stuff. It's got power locks, power windows with a window lockout, which is great for keeping the key keeper and bizarre furhead in line with the power windows. A power seat, of course. It's got GM's lovely Twilight Sentinel, which keeps your headlights on for a little while after you've shut the car off so you can see where you're going. Got a surprisingly full-featured instrument cluster. Air conditioned, of course. Got a tape player. The tape player doesn't work. There's a tape stuck in it, and I got it out, but that involved enough violence that I don't think the tape player is going to work for a while anymore. Glove box, of course. It's pretty spacious, too. They even got a trunk release on and off in there, which, according to the book, is used so that you can lock out the trunk and keep valets from going through your stuff. But yeah, this is a pretty sweet car, so I thought I'd make a little bit of a video about it before I have to take it back when my truck is done at the body shop. Now, the climate controls on this thing are just manual, but I thought this was interesting because it's mentioned in the book for the car. Although they don't really fill it out, they don't really talk about it. The only reference there is to it is an auto mode, which there isn't any room for on the dial and there isn't any picture of in the book. But evidently, just like my old Lumina that had the ABS light in the dash, but nothing hooked up to it and no mention of its purpose in the manual, this thing's got a little artifact down here by the key switch that I would say would probably have been used for an automatic climate control sensor. So let's take this thing for a ride. But before we do that, I know there are some of you that have a fascination with this. This car's chime is kind of a fake bell sound. So we shut the door here. You turn it on, I'll fasten the seatbelt, and you can hear it chime. Oh, and I almost forgot the most important part of any car, the cup holders. Cup holders in this car, they work, but they're kind of hokey. I haven't managed to spill yet, but it wouldn't be hard to do. I tried to do it when I got into this thing. So far, I've been getting about 24 miles to the gallon. So let's start this thing up. Runs quietly. It's not ready for farming just yet. Turn the air conditioning on. The air conditioning in this car is a little lackluster. I think it's the position of the vents. Well, I shut this one off getting into it, so I have to turn that back on again. And here we go. Let's just take a little ride here in our merry Oldsmobile. Yeah, I don't think this thing's getting the fuel economy that either one of our two Buicks are, because both of the Buicks have managed to get into the 30s. Even the old, cold, forgotten one over there. This is a very quiet and well-behaved car. Here we are now, getting out on the big road, the highway here. Got automatic door locks on it, but the funny thing about the automatic door locks is they seem to use the tachometer as a reference more than they do the forward speed of the car. Because you can sit here and wind it up in neutral, and when you get past a certain point on the tach, it'll hit the door locks. It also unlocks the doors whenever you shut the key off. Boy, that shifter knob can be kind of hard to find back there, but it sure is well cooled. Pretty quiet, well behaved. Here we are running about 45 miles an hour. Wouldn't want the local constabulary to pull us over out here. It's got a grand total of 105,796 miles on it, which isn't too bad at all for a 97. It's too bad they don't make Oldsmobiles anymore. I'd love to have this one. Love to have one like this. But I suppose the Buick and Pontiac versions of this car, whatever they happen to be, are probably pretty well the same. Riding along 55 mile an hour here on cruise control. Just doesn't get any better than this, folks. Very smooth, very powerful, and amazingly quiet, really. Oh, and the turn signal clicker is almost completely quiet. It's really pretty unbelievable. There my drink tried to go south. Oh well. The air conditioning works okay. It's not as good as I think it ought to. But with this car, it seems that you ought to shut it off long before you reach your destination. And if you don't, it smells like somebody threw up in it, which is not very good. Now, for those of you who are a little less well-behaved and wondering, yes, this car will really, really go. Well, wouldn't it be bad if I broke this thing? It's fast enough. Well, your father's Oldsmobile, as they used to say in their advertisements. I don't know just how fast it'll go. I haven't had it maxed out yet. Better slow it down before I get into trouble. And of course, no car video would be complete without a little look at what it's got under hood. This is another one of these GM 3800 creations. This is a 3800 Series 2. Which is evidently a newer generation of the engine than what I'm used to. And they've hidden all the magical internal workings, the fuel injection and the intake and stuff under a decorative cover. It's pretty average. Looks like they've shielded off a lot more of the electrical stuff and neatened up the tubing and changed the design of the air filter box. They also added a second fan on the radiator, probably to assist the air conditioning. Let's see what happens when we start it up here. Runs perfect. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. Uses Dex-Cool, for better or for worse. Some people call it Death Cool. And the stuff in my truck certainly doesn't look that good. Of course, the stuff in my truck probably needs to be changed too. Anyway, yeah, this is a pretty nice car. I've enjoyed driving it around. I miss my truck, but it'll come back, and maybe if I can find one of these used somewhere at a really good price, maybe I'll buy it. Because this is a pretty sweet riding car. Looks nice too. But there's only a couple things that are not quite right about it. Somebody got the power antenna stuck up here, which is better than being stuck down. There was a cassette stuck in the player, and I had to get that out. Well, I didn't have to. I mean, it was happy to play even with the cassette in there, but still, well, it was nice to have it out. And of course, they cleaned and detailed this car before they let me drive it. A little bit of shredded upholstery up there. Somebody's had something going on. Don't know what caused that to happen, but the headliner's still up. Got a little place for your sunglasses up there. The only problem is that when they cleaned this car, they decided that they'd use some kind of scented chemical or air freshener. And I don't know what people's fascination with that fake barfy cherry scent is, but until recently this car had it in spades, and I didn't like it at all. But there you go. That's the complete 1997 Oldsmobile 88 report. It's a pretty sweet car, but I'll be looking forward to getting my truck back.